Welcome back. We are here with Miss LaShanda Gary. Yes, and we are talking about unleashing the possibilities. I want to make sure that you guys are sharing, and following at Simply Centrell, at LaShanda Gary. Make sure you're using the hashtags Simply Centrell, Dream Build, Success. We want to make sure that you stay in the conversation, and hashtag possibilities. Also, right now is the time for you to give us a call, 832-230-5592. We kind of want to know what's going on out there. Some of you have shared on social media. Call in and let us know what has been the hardest part about unleashing possibilities in your life, or share your journey thus far on what you are doing to unleash the possibilities in your life. We want to hear your feedback. So, back to you, Miss LaShanda. Let's talk about the blueprint. While we're waiting on folks to join us in the conversation, let's talk about the blueprint. Did you have a blueprint for this life?
Well, I'll tell you, my blueprint is the Bible. I believe that it's the architect, it is the designer, it is the planner, the implementation of everything. I believe everything we need starts from Genesis all the way to Revelations. But realistically, because some of us, maybe you don't have the education, maybe you don't have the connections or the resources. What I did was, first thing I obtained a mentor. You know, I have a phenomenal husband. He's a praying man. And when I needed, that security, he, at being a man of God, would tell me, you could do it. Go for it. God told you to do it. Let's go. And then my family, I also have leaders, my pastors. Okay. They're right there praying. If there's big decisions where we have to make those decisions, or in business and just life in general, I make sure I get wise counsel. Yes. And I believe that's important. Your circle of influence, who's going in your ears, are they telling you, no, your possibilities aren't going to work? Your blueprint is a fail print. So let's be real about it and let's deal with that. Making sure that you have a positive, a safe haven. A safe place where you can roll out that plan or roll out that process and say, look, this is where I am. And a place where you can be just naked. And when I say naked, I don't mean literally. I mean, transparent in a broken state. Right. And I think that was essential for me, making sure that I partnered up with people that understood the vision and the call of God on my life. Yes. The purpose of why do I want Dream Build Success? Why do I want the possibilities? And then why did God tell me, or why can I teach other people to have this possibility? Absolutely. A lot of times we believe that we have to be maybe qualified to do it. But God will always call you and then qualify you. Yes. He called you. Jeremiah 29:11 says he predestined you. Yes. So when he predestined you, it doesn't matter what you look like, doesn't matter what you sound like, doesn't matter, what neck of the woods, neighborhood you're from, even your school. That has nothing to do with it. If you say yes to him, then that's when the blueprint will roll out.
I love that. So you said a whole lot of stuff in there, and I'm going to try and recap a little bit of it just so that you can know how important it was that you shared that with me. One, because as we go on this journey, this is exactly what this is. You and we're having a conversation like we have had before, and I wanted to make sure we shared it. And the conversation is really what I think we should be having a lot more often, not just the yous and the I's, right? Everyone that's listening to us, everyone that's out there, your counsel, your support group, those people that you interact with, you need to be having these types of conversations. This is what you need to be talking about. This is how you move forward. You're talking about positive building type things where you are in a safe space. Your support team believes in your passion and your purpose and your vision. That's important. Yes. We don't want to miss that. And Jeremiah 29:11 talks about the plan that God has for you, right? So I know that scripture very well. And I always like to go back to a quote that sticks with me all the time. And it is that count everything that happens to you as good, knowing that nothing happens without God. Now, I know that there are a number of people that are listening to us and they do not believe in God. They may have a spirituality, they may connect to a higher being. Whatever that is for you, we are all spiritual individuals. We are all connected. We are all here on this earth. So know that things that are going on in your life are happening because there is a purpose for them. You may not know what that purpose is. And in the moment, it seems like it's something that is not serving you well. Well, that's because you are in the frame. You can't see what's going on in the picture. You can't see that big picture. You are only seeing a certain aspect in your view. So it's very important for folks to realize that the plans that are on our life are for good. Yes. The life events, although they may be hard and they may test us and break us,
yes,
they are for our good. And you may not realize that until years later. The blueprint is in the Bible. The blueprint is also in the people that you come in contact with. You might come in contact with some individuals, like you said, mentors and coaches. What we're here to do right now, what I do, action coaching, giving you some pathways, some things that you can do literally to get where you are going. That's what we're doing. And then not only that, I would say for me, even as I go on the path, I think certain things are possible. And I can tell you some amazing things have been happening, so much so that I'm thinking, is that right? Is that right,
yes.
God? Because these are things that you likely have not thought about. So when folks are talking about taking the limits off of the possibilities, unleashing those possibilities, and they don't have a blueprint, yes. They don't have anything to go back to. And then they start to see little things happen. And they could be small things. Yes. I don't want us to miss the small things, the forest for the trees. Small things matter. Tell me about what that looked like for you, because you said the blueprint was the Bible. Yes. Let's go back a little bit further when you were maybe a little younger. So here you are, Dream Build Success yes. coach, right? All of these wonderful things. What did you want to be when you grew up? And did you see the possibilities then?
Well, I'll tell you, when I grew up, I wanted to be an Olympic track athlete.
Oh, stop it now.
And it's so amazing because I believe that was pivotal in my growth process. One, because being an athlete, it taught me certain skills.
Yes.
It taught me to never give up. Mm-hmm. I was one of the shortest on the field, the fastest, but the shortest.
We don't
so
say
that
short.
Could be
we say medium.
Medium, okay.
Yeah, we medium.
There you go. I like that. But looking at it, I could also look at it as these are giants. Yes. I'm running amongst giants. Mm-hmm. But just going through that entire process, and there's a thing when you get tired when you run. Mm. So my parents would also make sure that I understood a team concept. Mm. I think it's so important in my journey when I was an athlete. Understanding, how can I be a leader if I'm not a team player?
Right.
Understanding defeat, because it does happen.
Yes.
And one thing that I always remembered is that I have to run my own race. Mm. So as a child, that's what I really wanted to be, just to be honest.
Right.
But maturing, there were a lot of things, but now all things work together. I see the whole path of how it worked together.
Right. Now you see it. Yes.
The vision part, I was the child that would take a box and I'd build a house. Mm-hmm. I was the child that sat all my cousins down and was like, look, we're going to have summer school. Mm-hmm. Whether it was being a cheerleader and then becoming a lifeguard, I was always training and developing. Mm-hmm. So I see that all things came together. Yeah. So for people that are listening and you say, you know what, I don't know what I want to do. Start somewhere. Right? Do something. Right. You can just at least just keep moving. Mm-hmm. Just don't get stagnant and give up and say, I can't do it. That's the possibilities. That's the way you unleash it. Yeah. For me as a track athlete, there was times where I would just shout or I would scream, or my parents would drop me off 3 miles from the house and let me run home because I had to unleash what was in me.
Yes.
And you could say, some people could say, oh my gosh, that's nuts, but it worked. Mm-hmm. So find what works for you. Mm-hmm. For me, that's what worked. I had to learn, self-control and self-discipline. Mm-hmm. When it got tough, when it wasn't fun, when my coach yelled at me and I didn't understand why. There's adversities that come, and even in my process where I fussed at myself. Mm-hmm. I'm like, girl, you got to get it together.
Right.
Get yourself up.
Right.
Get out of that state. I, experienced a lot of different things, you know, well, whether it's, oh, I can't do it, or I don't understand. Just
Yeah.
keep going and pushing. So that's what it taught me. And that's really what I want to be as a child.
Oh, you wanted to be an Olympic track
Hey,
star?
come on now. Hey, state champion, check my stats.
Did she say check us that? Hashtag check the stats.
Yes.
Yeah, I ran track also. We have that in common. Yes, not the Olympics.
I know. Yeah.
The Reed Olympics. You can check that. Don't
There
check
you go.
it. So, yes, so I appreciate that you shared that because running is a big part of my life. I have not run track on the college level or the Olympic level. I have done marathons and I have done half marathons, and I agree with you. There's an unleashing that takes place in physical activity. Not only that, I think it helps to strengthen your mental. So when we're talking about building a better you, you have to be able to have activity. We're not saying go out and run a marathon. We're not saying you need to be an Olympic track athlete. We're not saying that. We're saying that there is a physical component that is necessary in building a better you. You cannot sit on the couch and expect for you to function at your best level. You have to give your body what it needs. It needs nutrition. It needs physical activity. Just like your brain needs that mental strengthening. You have to make sure to give your body what it needs so that it can perform for you, so it can unleash those possibilities, so you know what is possible for you. So, see, when you were younger, you took heed to those things. You realized that the coaches and those people that were in your life, you had parents that encouraged you, and they told you, hey, you have to get your stuff together. You're not going to always be right. And I don't even use the word perfect because there's no such thing. I would even encourage you never to even use that word because it can be discouraging.
Yes.
We are constantly progressing. So when someone tells you, all right, LaShanda, you need to change your form, you need to run a little bit faster, or you need to eat this because this is going to help you perform better, well, then that starts to build the blueprint. So for those of you who don't have a blueprint, or you feel like you don't have a blueprint, then note this down and realize that you can build your blueprint out of your life's experiences. And I encourage you to take the notes, because when it comes to building a better you, you might need to get in touch with who that actually is. One of the things I suggest when I'm coaching clients is you need to start journaling. You want to know what you're passionate about. You want to know what your purpose is. You need to start writing it down every day. Start with just consistent writing for 7 days. Write it down. See what you wrote. See what the consistent themes are. This is how you build a better you. Like, share, follow KYND at Simply Centrell, at LaShanda Gary. We will be right back to wrap it up on Unleashing the Possibilities.